Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey guys, welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. I'm your host, DJ Qualls, and I'm here with my good friend Kelly Blackheart. Hey Kelly.
Hello. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I've been around the world and I.
Were you prepping that?
Yeah, no, but now I've been singing it all day though. I have been around the world and I.
Been around the world and I.
Yeah, I was. We haven't done this in a minute, so we have a lot to catch up on. I was in Scotland, and nobody got mad about.
Because they're reasonable people.
Purple burglar alarm. Nobody even. I think maybe one person mentioned it, or maybe our show is not very popular in Scotland.
It was until that episode. Like, don't mention it. Don't let them even think that we listen.
It was our one chance, and we fucked it up. It was great, and so I've become very close quickly to the owners of the Deadpool dog, Peggy. You know, the one with the giant tongue.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke and Holly, I love you guys. It's Luke's birthday, actually. Happy birthday 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so and then after that, I came back here. We didn't record any of those trips back, did we?
No, we haven't recorded for like a month.
And then where was I? I think I was in.
Or no, not a month. Yeah, about a month.
I went to Charlotte, and then I came back, and then I went to shoot a movie, a Revolutionary War movie, where I was shot with a musket and then bayoneted to death.
We had a hell of a time learning those lines.
Oh my God, because they're like in fucking old English or something.
He sent me the script at first, and I thought I was having a stroke. I was like, none of this fucking makes sense at all.
But spoiler alert, I should have said that sooner. You're not going to remember this by the time the movie comes out. I bite the dust in a pretty spectacular way. It was pretty fun. It's only I think the third time I've died on camera. So the first time my head was cut off on Fargo. And then, when did I die the second time?
Well, the movie that just came out that you were in, Carved, you died.
Yeah, I died in a pretty spectacular way. Spoiler alert.
Which, by the way, I watched Carved the other day. And so when you had first sent me the script, my response to you was
because you read it first.
I read it first, and I said, I like this as long as they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Like the script itself is very jokey and like kind of unbelievable and all that stuff. And if they lean into the silliness of it, I think that they can do something good with this. And so I watched it, and they definitely leaned in. It felt very much like a nostalgic 80s, 90s
like
horror
movie.
movies, like very camp.
Yeah. That's what we were going for.
Funny moments. So that was fun.
It was a good time. But with all due respect, Kentucky, I'm not coming back anytime soon. We're living in the middle of nowhere, and you know how I am. If I'm not 3 blocks from a convenience store, I feel like I'm in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And I definitely
might as well be in prison.
Exactly. I kind of felt like I was in prison. And not the good kind.
What's the good kind of prison?
The kind where you have great sex and lay out in the sun. Doesn't that happen in prison?
Yeah.
In the movies I watch about prison, that's what happens.
Are they movies?
They're more clips.
Oh, okay. They're 5 to 7 minute movies.
and they make like 20 of them in a day. My favorite actor.
What are you doing, binge watching movies?
My favorite actor from that series has done 927 movies in the last 2 years.
His IMDb is insane.
So Isaac is
Hard
Googling
Time.
Prison romance novels. They're called Hard Time, Prisoner, Lady Luck, Slammer, Protection, Trapped, Hold, Brute,
Hole.
Conveniently convertible?
Convicted.
If you had to make one of these books into a movie, which one are you picking?
Slammer.
There's no hesitation whatsoever.
I've actually optioned that book for my production company.
I thought you were going to go for Trapped, but...
No, I don't like feeling trapped.
I would have gone Hard Time.
I like being slammed.
Oh, boy. And here I was going to do a disclaimer about this and say this may not be a very good episode because we were low energy driving here. Everybody today was driving like they had. Everybody thought they had the right of way in every situation.
Well, and just also the swerving was out of control.
There was a lot of swerving.
And for no reason, too. There was that one that swerved one way and then tried to get back in front of the car. Like there was dust that blew up from this interaction. I didn't feel like we were super low energy. I thought we were just attempting not to talk to each other because every time we drive here, we start talking and then we're like, fuck, that was good.
It takes us about an hour to get here, a little under an hour to get here. And when we talk in the car, we
cover too many topics.
I call it a wrong night wad blow. And typically how I use a wrong night wad blow is like, do you know, like I could not go out for like 4 weeks in a row, and then I have something that's been planned forever, and something will happen that will make me go out the night before. I will get destroyed and be hurting all the next day when I have to do it. That's called a wrong night wad blow. Mm-hmm. And Kelly and I always blow our wads on the way here.
And that's now the title of this episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wrong night wad blow.
I had a pretty crazy week because it started. I mean, my sister-in-law
Here's the thing. Okay, let's take that back.
What?
Oh, so what did you do when I was gone? So that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna do that, but you make me talk about dicks and wad blow.
Yes, I did. I did make you do that.
So what'd you do when I was gone?
Well, I mean, it's been a month, so I don't remember
Take us
all
through
of it.
every
But
day.
I'll just talk about the last week because it was crazy. My sister-in-law has been sick for a couple of weeks and ended up in the hospital for like 5 days. So that was really scary. But she got out, so we're hoping that she's on the mend now. But last week, I was going to sleep and I was finally falling asleep at like 3:30 in the morning, and I hear this little like boop, and I was like, "What is that?" And then 30 seconds later, I start smelling something. I'm like, "Oh, did Rhino fart?" Like, he's not a big farter, and if he does, it doesn't smell. So I'm like doing this sniff thing while not getting out of bed, and I was like, did you just shit your pants, bro? And so I get up and I lift the cover of his crate and my hand gets wet, and I'm like, no. And I open it up and I put my flashlight on my phone on, and the poor guy is just standing in one spot. The entire crate is just covered in diarrhea, and he's drooling. And so I like open it up and let him out. I try to get him into the shower right away just in case he has anything on his feet, and he's like, no, bitch, I gotta go outside.
Was it Ozempic?
Yeah, it was. Well, that was spoiler. Yeah, he's looking amazing, but he has diarrhea. I take him outside. Diarrheas again, then he throws up twice, and I'm like, I felt so badly for him. So I go back up.
You didn't tell me this.
Well,
were you saving it?
Not necessarily.
You're gonna open with your dog diarrhea story.
But I go upstairs to like start cleaning things, and I had forgotten to grab supplies from downstairs, and so I tie a towel around my face because it's everywhere. It's gone through the crate. It's on the walls. It's on the floor. It's everywhere, and then I throw up as I'm cleaning up, and I was just like, fuck this. I got him in the shower. I washed him off a little bit, and I just went and slept in the other room. I was like, I can't deal with this right now. So I like needed to wait for it to not be liquid. And so he had diarrhea for a couple of days, which was brutal because I was also like babysitting to help my brother and my sister-in-law out, and I'm like, I can't leave him alone for too long, like all that stuff. And then I still have a headache from this situation. The other day I had seen a TikTok of somebody giving a review of this, like, it's basically like a scalp rejuvenation type massage thing at this spa. And I'm not trying to throw any shade to the spa or anything like that, so I won't say where it is or who it was. But I go there, and it was.
Do I know this spa?
No.
Is it a Medi spa?
It's similar to that,
because that's the thing that people don't realize about Medi spas.
No, it's not like a place where you go get Botox or anything like that. But that you go there and they do like pictures of your hair follicles and they show you your hair health, and then after the treatment they're supposed to show you the improvement.
Do you have
and all
some
that
problems
stuff.
with your hair?
No, but it's to keep your hair healthy. It just was something that I wanted to try, especially because I'm a person who loves massages in theory, but generally, like, I like really light pressure. I would prefer if somebody would just scratch my back and braid my hair. Like, I love a scalp massage.
I hate being touched by strangers. I feel like I'm in a fucking Pepe Le Pew
I like
cartoon.
only like being touched by strangers because they're not expecting anything in return.
Oh, see, I do.
So but
I'm
a scalp
giver.
massage is always good. Like when you go get your hair done and they're washing your hair, I love that. So they had said like, oh, you look like you have a sensitive scalp, blah blah blah, whatever. But like hair health, great, blah blah blah, all this stuff. they're like, we have to charge $20 more because your hair is so long. And I'm like, okay, fine. And they're like, and then do you want this CO2 infused water, blah, blah, blah. It's $30. I'm like, no, give me a break. So I go lie down. They've got these like.
How much are you in at this point?
It ended up being like $108 or something like that for a 90-minute thing.
Okay.
So I go lie down. They've got these like massage beds and then those leg massager things where it like will squeeze your, like you put them in the slots and it'll squeeze your legs. So immediately off the top, the leg massager, I'm like, it's going to break my bones. Like,
is it hurting that bad?
It hurts so fucking bad. And I'm like, can you turn the leg thing off? So she just turns it on low. And so it's still uncomfortable, but
Is this place in K-Town?
No. But I need it because if you turn it off completely, then the leg part goes down. So you're just like laying on this table with your legs down, like totally not comfortable. The bed part itself is like one of those massage chairs where the things like come out, like the kneading things come out. And so you're laying with your full weight on this thing. And then there's this thing that like pops up and it's like on your lower.
It's like being a 4DX movie.
There was not a single second of this thing that I enjoyed. Then she's getting into my scalp and just like, so fucking painfully she is getting in there, and then she's using these tools and like scraping the shit out of my head. I'm like, you guys just said that I have a sensitive scalp. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm visibly wincing because we don't speak the same language, and so every time I had asked for anything to be adjusted, it was just like not happening. So I'm sitting there going like it's not working. So about 45 minutes in, my hair had just gotten rinsed from all of like the shampoos and stuff like that, and she puts this steaming machine on me, and I go, actually, can I just be done? And she goes, the steam is for 5 minutes or whatever to lock things in. I go, no, can you turn it off now? I'm just gonna be done now.
You said 45 minutes more to go, right?
Yeah, and I just couldn't handle another second, and so she turns it off and like puts my hair in a towel, but she still thinks like, okay, we'll go blow dry your hair now. I go, no, I'm done. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. And the guy's like, is it something we did? I'm like, I think my head's just too sensitive for this. Like, I just need to get the fuck out of here. I'm starting to get a migraine. I need to go. Because if I get a migraine while I'm still here, I'll go blind and I can't drive home.
Right.
And then this guy for 5 minutes then starts telling me how he gets really bad migraines. I'm like, that's great. Can I just pay and leave? So terrible experience. And I'm sure, I don't know if maybe she just was new or something like that and didn't like your scalp.
Or maybe she just fucking hated you.
Yeah, she might have.
It's
but
like,
I was
this
nice
bitch.
the whole, like even when I was like trying to get out of there, I didn't try to make her feel like shit, like she was doing something wrong. I was just like, I didn't want her to think that I was ending it, after everything had been done. So I could get out of paying. I'm like, no, I'm gonna pay. I just need to leave right now. And so I've had a headache for 3 days now.
That sucks, man. See, I do not do anything relaxing in a spa. When I go to any sort of thing like that, is to get something injected into my face or my face lasered off. And that kind of torture I like. But when something's supposed to be pleasant and it's not pleasant, it really like. It's the worst thing in the world, especially you're thinking about, I'm paying so much money for this, and I just want to leave. Would you stop touching me?
Yeah. And that's what I don't, like every time I get a massage, I'm like, can I get really light pressure? And I don't know if they're giving me what they perceive to be light pressure or if they just don't understand what light pressure is. Right. I don't know if people look at me and see that I have tons of tattoos and they're like, she must have, or it's like she has knots that she doesn't know about, so I'm going to work these out. Like, no, please, just tickle me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like it. My friend came out here to visit once, and she booked a deep cleaning facial, and I think she thought it was like one of those really nice things, and she booked at a Medi-Spa and didn't know it was one, and she came out sobbing. She was like, it really fucked up her day. She was like, they were rubbing me so hard. I'm like, yeah, I think they're supposed to do that. I think that's...
I mean, you would think, though, on your face, they wouldn't rub so hard because your skin's so fragile.
But like microdermabrasion and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I've done Morpheus and that, but that was needles.
Yeah, that's torture, right?
That was fucking torture.
Everybody who's done Morpheus tells me it's awful.
Yeah,
I'm talking about hard-ass people who... would rather die than say something hurts.
Yeah, like, that's me. I mean,
it hurts so bad.
I didn't cry or anything, but I was just like, I don't know how somebody who doesn't have a ton of tattoos could handle this, because it was so like, and they give you numbing cream or whatever, but the numbing cream doesn't really
it doesn't
do that much. And
I mean, it does if you go to a really good place, if they have the medical grade stuff. Look up photos of fraxel laser treatments. F-A-R,
it's right there.
no, F-R-A-X-E-L, fraxel.
F-R-A-X-E-L.
That's
It's in
my
the,
bad.
yeah.
Fraxel
the top.
laser, yeah. So I'm getting this done. I'm getting a facial resurfacing the week after Christmas at Skin Girls. Hey, Skin Girls. That's where I have all my stuff done in Vancouver, and they are the gold standard of what they do, and really, really reasonable.
Oh yeah, is that the one we were supposed to do?
Yeah, but look at day 3, like say recovery by day, because they're showing you the high, like the before and the after. You come out looking all right, and then things turn south pretty quick.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Then you look like you've been through some trauma there after a while.
Well, it's needles, right?
No, it's
So it bruises your face, and then you have to recover.
it's a fraxel laser.
Oh yeah, laser. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you'll peel
Yeah.
the top layer of your skin.
Yeah, it removes the top layer of your skin, I think, completely.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, here's the thing. It'll probably make me look 5 minutes younger, but like getting painful shit done to my face at a dermatologist is like 47% of my personality. What the fuck else am I going to do? It's that and watching television.
Yeah. Speaking of looking 5 minutes younger, there was so many comments on Rosenbaum's podcast about how young you look, and then people fighting in the comments about how old you are.
No, it makes me feel good. So guys, I just did a couple of appearances. I did Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You.
Well, look at the one on the right, middle right.
Yeah. I'm
Middle,
telling you.
middle right.
That one?
Nope. Middle row right.
Okay.
Isaac.
All the way
to the right.
No, that's left.
No. That's right.
Okay.
What's wrong
I thought
with
you
you
were talking
two?
about this one with the red face over here in the corner.
No, I'm talking about the lady with the full red face in that picture right there.
Oh, that's a man. Is that not a man?
No, that's a lady.
Maybe she went to school as a woman and she came home as a man.
How long does that black bar stay on your face for?
That's
Forever.
permanent, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. It's called Inside of You, and it's available wherever you stream podcasts. He's a great interviewer and a good friend. And we talked about a lot of stuff, and I couldn't believe like how good I looked. Like his lighting situation is dope. Michael Rosenbaum, you are the gold standard of lighting. And I also did my very good friend Craig Fergeson's podcast, and I love doing both of his podcast. Is Joy, also available where you listen to podcasts. And it was different. I loved it for a different reason. I loved it. There's something that's almost not as vulnerable going deep with somebody that you don't know as well. Like I love Rosenbaum, but like I don't know him like I know Craig.
Yeah.
Craig is one of the only people who I still have in my sphere that I knew when I started my career.
Yeah.
And knew me when I was young, when I was in my 20s. And it was just such a, like, I cried like 45 times. Like I watched a bit of the video. I'm wiping my nose up like a Coke fiend because I got brought to the point of tears so many times because you forget this kind of stuff and all these memories start flooding back. And we got pretty deep on it also. But his podcast really is about joy and about what brings you joy. And I liked it because you don't start talking about that. It comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, so what brings you joy? It's just you're talking about the things that
are going on in your
naturally
life.
come up. Yeah.
And then I got to the place about like how, like, I think I'm the happiest I've ever been right now in my life. I know I am. We were just talking before we started taping that I haven't been depressed. That doesn't mean that it won't happen again, but I have chronic depression and I felt so lifted lately. And it may be because I'm so busy, because usually anxiety and depression happen to me, especially when I'm idle.
Yeah.
Because then your brain has time to think. It's like if I had to go out of the cave and hunt all my food, I probably wouldn't have any time to think about myself.
That's part of the reason that anxiety and depression are so rampant now, is we have too much free time to sit and think about what we're doing.
So guys, check those out. I really...
Craig was so lovely. Like I got to talk to him briefly afterwards and tell him that I showed The Hustler to my nephews,
we
was one
watched
of
The
my
Hustler
favorite.
together.
It's one of my favorite game shows. It was so fun, so well done, and I was like, we love that show. My whole family loves it. So if we could get another season, he's like, yeah, send me a link. We'll do private episodes. And I was
He's
like,
great, man.
I love him. So that was really fun to sit in on.
And one of the things that we talked about is is something that's really currently going on in my life, or actually I've just sort of gotten past it. And it is the idea of being asked to prove myself for a movie role or a television show when it's territory I've already covered.
Yeah.
Like I'll do a meeting, but to record myself on tape and send it into a void when the director's not going to be there. Like if I'm not worth your time, then I just don't feel like I should be doing that.
Right.
And so I'm not. I'm really not doing that right now. And he's sort of in that same spot. And I remembered something that he told me that I'd forgotten. When he left late night, I was very upset. Selfishly so. Because it was my soft place to land in that sphere. Like I did a show over and over and over again. And a lot of people don't know.
You did it, 26 times?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then a lot of those, and they would just have somebody cancel on a Tuesday and I'd go over there. Because they were like, hey, we'll send a car for you if you want to come over here. So-and-so just canceled. And usually those are, you're pre-interviewed by the segment producer.
Right.
And so the host, so there's not dead air. The host has a series of like 10 stories and he picks 5 and he leads you into them.
Yeah.
And after I did my first episode, he said in my earshot to a segment producer, he never has to be pre-interviewed again. And we would just go and just talk. So when he left, it felt like a death of something that was, I really loved his space in that world and also what it meant to me to be able to have that outlet. And he told me, he was like, basically everybody I know in this sphere winds up not happy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, is that my option? And I was like, and I knew he was making so much money. And in your mind, if you're not in that particular situation, does this, how could you give this up for the unknown? And it's because your happiness is at stake. Mm-hmm. And I think he's the first person in Hollywood, in entertainment, that I ever saw make that choice, like certainly in front of me. Like I'm not happy doing this, or I feel like I've done this with my life. Yeah. And I feel like I'm ready to move on. Like it's the releasing of something.
For sure. And that's the thing too. It's like at a certain point he was financially stable enough that he didn't need the money anymore. And every job, even if it's your dream job, one day becomes a job.
It has to.
It's like, and all of these things that used to be fun and new and exciting for you become work, and they're not. And then you find
you're sacrificing your life for it.
And especially on something like that, where
they record every day.
Every day, which people, the grind of doing a talk show is so intense. I mean, like at the Jim Jeffrey show, it was 1 day a week, but show day was fucking intense. And
you just don't slide in for an hour and do your job. You were there from 7 a.m.
to 9 p.m. Yeah. Like there's so much prep that goes into it.
Look how handsome he's. Oh my God, he's so handsome.
He's a silver fox for sure.
He definitely is aged
But
beautifully.
a lot of people don't realize, like when they think about appearances on late night shows, they don't necessarily understand why guests are talking about certain things, and they don't know that process. But when you go to a late night show, you're sitting with a producer and they're like, all right, what stories do you got for us? And you're like, I got this. And they're like, no, what else you got? And it's like you're thumbing through all of your stories to try to find some things that they're gonna pick, and that's what you have to talk about because that's what's prepared. And so it was nice for you to be able to just go in there and talk freely.
Just wonderful. And that's what it felt like old times. I was in my living room. He was in wherever he is. I think he was in New York. And but it was like it felt so nostalgic and also so right. Mm-hmm. And most of my talk show experiences were pretty positive. I understand pretty quickly how to tailor my stories toward their demographic and their audience. And the only time I didn't do that, I did the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And so the Tonight Show wouldn't follow Conan. Mm-hmm. So you had, if you were doing both those shows, when you had a movie out or a TV show to promote, you would do the Tonight Show first, or I would do the Tonight Show and then take the red eye to New York and then do Conan the next day. Mm-hmm. And so Leno, I think, was on his way out of the Tonight Show, and I think they were trying to edge up a bit, like make it a little edgier. And so the segment producer said, what are you talking about tomorrow night on Conan? I'm like, it's all dick jokes. You don't want them. I promise you, you don't want these jokes.
Like,
And
we
he-
do.
And he was like, he did. That's what he said. He was like, yeah. He's like, and I told him some of the stuff. You know, it's about being out in New Orleans, being a degenerate, about how I showed my penis to a group of people accidentally when they asked to see a tattoo once, and
The
so,
tattoo was at the tip of your penis. But
No, so that story was, just jumping back a bit. It was so I had this little. I made a joke actually on Fergeson once that he asked me if I had any tattoos, and I said I do, and I only had one at the time, and I was like, but it's right below my belt line, and it's a little fin-footed dragon that I got from a Chinese like tapping, you know, those tap tattoos.
Stick and poke
It's
type
medicinal. Because after cancer, I had a lymph node in my abdomen that wouldn't go down, and somebody told me, he's like, if you go to a Chinese tattoo, medicinal tattooer, they can make that go away, and it did.
Wow.
It's a shitty, ugly tattoo. It's a fin-footed dragon that looks awful, but it went away. And also, like, I had a little scar tissue on my neck and a little bit under my armpit, and that went away. So
from that tattoo?
From that.
Wow.
Like within a year, they were both gone. And so I believe in that stuff. That there are pressure points all over your body.
Yeah, acupuncture has worked wonders
Oh yeah,
for
you
me.
talked about yeah. And so I think it's a form of that. So anyway, it's an awful tattoo, and so I said, and so I made the joke. Well, but thankfully no one's ever seen it. Meaning I don't have sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a joke, a little self-deprecation. I got a little laugh, and we moved on from it. So I'm in New Orleans, like the next year. I'm doing Memphis Beat, and I'm waiting for my friend outside of Ernst's Cafe at like 3:30 in the morning, and she's working, and I'm waiting for her to get off. And a group of kids from Ohio, college kids from Ohio, come up, and they're like, "Hey, bro, show us that tattoo." And I don't know why I did this, but instead of just pulling my pants down a little bit, I jerked my pants down to like the middle of my thighs, and I looked down, and my penis was poked out of my boxers. And I was so my manual dexterity was so off because I've been drinking that it felt like it took 45 minutes for me. Why did I pull my pants just back up? You could have done that. You can't just pull your pants up. But instead, I was trying to get my finger on the head of my penis to push it back into my boxers, like over and over and over again for like 3 hours. Anyway, so that was one of the stories I was going to tell on. I was going to tell that on Conan, right? And so. But Leno was like, so no, Leno's people were like, no, we want that. So I go out, and the first joke is not that, and it bombs. And then he leads me into the second joke.
Yeah, they're that audience
And then
is
it
not
bombs.
expecting that. Yeah.
And then I start freaking out internally, and I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
You should have just pulled your dick out then.
Exactly. But here's Tom Arnold was on the couch with me. Oh, this motherfucker. And Leno was like, he's new here. I was like, I've done the show 6 times. You guys asked for this. I said this.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to commercial, and that part was edited out of the show.
So you had the shortest interview.
Yeah, so that's the only time I've ever not done well on a talk show. But you know your audience.
Yeah.
You can't be middle America and then just pull out a dick.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No, they don't.
They really don't. And I've got proof of it somewhere. Although I can never. That's one video that I can't find.
That doesn't even feel like in his wheelhouse comedy-wise to riff on.
It made me think a segment producer was just maybe he was checked out at that point because he was going off. I don't know his psychology. I don't know the man. But I've just been interviewed by him for a few times. But maybe they just handed him a card and briefly ran him down. He was like, "Oh, we're talking about dicks."
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're talking about dicks, and he has to try to save face and blame it on me.
Yeah.
And there's not enough time in a 5-minute segment to be like, actually, on the 14th of June of this year, your segment producer said, we're trying to edge up. Anyway, check out Joy, Craig Fergeson's podcast, and Inside of You, Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, 2 excellent gentlemen who I am proud to call my friends. And Kelly, you've just done an appearance that's just out.
Yes. So this week it came out. The podcast is called We Signed an NDA. And so it is our friend Amanda.
I love her.
She is the former co-host / producer of The Vial Files, which is hosted by Nick Vial from the Bachelorette franchise. She's fucking wonderful. I love her so much. And then her co-host is Ann Maddox, who was if anybody watches Vanderpump Rules, she was Tom Sandoval's assistant on the last season of Vanderpump Rules. And so they got together, made a podcast, and they're basically interviewing people who work in entertainment, but in, an assistant type position, to get kind of the behind the scenes stuff. It's not meant to like take people down or whatever, but to get the stories of people who work in supporting roles in entertainment.
That's a great idea.
It's great. And they're like, our episode was like probably an hour and a half, but I could have talked to them for 3 more hours. Like, it was very fun. They're really, really cool people. Highly suggest it. And they just started theirs, I think, in January, and in I think August of this year, they were nominated for some like reality TV podcast award up against Amanda's former podcast. Oh. And I was like, that's good, dude.
Awkward.
I mean, yeah, Amanda's just a one. Like, she comes to trivia with us now. So DJ's met her and hung out. He's obsessed with her.
She's great.
So
hey,
yeah,
Amanda.
check that out.
But you can't talk to me for 3 hours.
I talk to you for 3 hours all the time.
I know.
That's why we started this podcast, because all of our conversations were 3+ hours.
We need some structure to this. We have lives. I haven't done the dishes in 3 years. Stop talking to me.
What are we on now? What's Sunshinery?
What is that?
It looks like the YouTube channel that hosts that podcast that you were just
Oh, I'm glad I didn't say it looked like porn. Because the colors were looking a little porny to me when it pulled up.
Pink and purple.
Yeah, that reminds me of porn.
Interesting. Yeah, that's them.
Oh, hey, guys.
What else is going on? You went to Long Beach the other night.
Oh, I went to Long Beach. I went to that.
Without me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was going to go, but I didn't.
You were being dutiful. No, a couple of friends, we went down to Long Beach. Is haunted. It's haunted.
It was like the Queen Mary.
Yeah, it's like haunted lagoon, haunted something like that, haunted harbor.
Yeah.
And it's basically an amusement park that they set, like a horror themed amusement park that they set up around 5 haunted houses, mazes. And I'm a jumper. And so people really love going to this. Like, I'm not like comedically, but like the best kind of jump scares are when people are just in the shadows and my eyes adjust and I see them. They're not moving or doing anything. So I think I got about 5 times a maze. I mean, not like, nah, but like, oh, Jesus.
Not like right before we got here. It's spooked.
Yeah. But it made it more fun for everybody else. And also, I want to say thank you to Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, because we got there and they recognized me, and all 5 of my friends were bumped up to VIP because we were not going to pay.
It's like $140 for VIP or something like that.
Plus drinks on top of that.
Yeah.
So you'll be spending $300 in a night. And so thank you. Everybody that worked there was amazing. The coolest part about it was at the end, there's a stage and all of the monsters come and do a dance party. They performed, they danced to songs, and everybody who's left over started, like, people that you wouldn't think would be into this.
I saw the video of it and I was like, this crowd does
people
not
from
seem
all
like,
walks of life, guys, like giant guys with tattoos, like there was a nun, some old people, a 3-year-old. Like it was like the Village People. Oh, that was a picture of them. That's the cast that dances and sings. It was amazing. The Michael Jackson, well, he's not a Michael Jackson, but he was performing a Michael Jackson song. The green guy with the captain suit on, outstanding. It was amazing. I had an amazing time.
Nice.
I'm glad I did it. It's definitely something I would do again. So thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, you went with Kim and Billy.
Went with Kim and Billy and Frank. And
Larry. No, it was
no. Larry and Josh.
Josh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know Josh, but it was my first time meeting Frank.
And we won trivia last night.
No, Larry. Why do I want to call him Frank? Who do I know that's named Frank?
I don't know. It's definitely Larry, though.
I just ate some hot sauce. There's a Frank's hot sauce. Maybe. Yeah.
Did you get the answer to the question you posted on Instagram?
What?
You posted something in the story about, like, help us solve this, whatever.
What was it?
The trivia thing?
Yeah.
Right. So
right.
the trivia that we go to has 10 rounds or something like that. One of the rounds is called connections, and so there's 9 questions, and then the 10th question is what's the connection between all these answers. And so the answers were Sabrina Carpenter, red, filet mignon, Wolverines, Joy, fucking some other stuff, right? And we were like,
we got all the answers right.
We got all the answers right. We were racking our brains to figure out what the connection was, and we just said fuck it, Halloween costumes, because like
it's Halloween.
Oh, Chipotle was one of the answers. That
yeah.
one kept throwing us off, and so I said, let's just do Halloween costumes, and you're like, nobody dresses like Chipotle. I'm like, but people dress like burritos for their free burrito day, so like maybe they wrap themselves in tinfoil or something like that. We had only written filet for filet mignon, so we got that question wrong, and it ended up being Halloween costumes, and the mignon was supposed to be like a homophone, I think it's called, for minions.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It was really annoying.
Our answer was, this was the answer I typed. Halloween costumes, this is bullshit. I want to speak to the manager.
Yeah. And we ended up getting it right. So
we got it right. And we won. We won trivia.
Yeah. Sure did.
Not to be mean to anybody who was there,
but
it was not hard to win that trivia.
Well, we were losing most of it.
Yeah, but it's because we didn't double.
Yeah.
We weren't. It was because if the bar isn't high with competition, you don't feel the need to make those kind of decisions.
We'll play a little safer.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that I'll double most of the, like, if it weren't for you taking trivia so seriously and being really pissed off if we double and get something wrong, then I would double all the time.
I mean, I'm not obviously not going to hit you, but I would bend your fingers back. I love trivia.
Yeah, but the one round we didn't double on, I was like, I'm 97% sure that we have all of them right.
What was the answer that we didn't?
The bear.
Oh, the bear. They showed you 8 photos from 8 different TV shows, and you had to match the person who was the server, the waiter or the waitress, the server, to the TV show.
And it was a picture of the older brother, which I can't think of his name. And
Barry?
It was when they like transitioned into a fine dining restaurant. But I watched The Bear season 1 for sure, and then I think I watched a little bit of season 2, and I haven't seen season 3, and so I'm pretty sure this is The Bear.
I've never seen it.
I didn't want you to bend my fingers back, so we didn't double.
I think the reason why I don't watch it is because they're not competing for a prize.
Yeah, that's probably it. You only like competition shows.
I really do. I love reality competition shows.
Oh, speaking of reality competition shows, our good friend Pony Lawson, who is an incredible tattoo artist, he is on this season of Ink Masters, and the season is OGs versus Young Guns. So they've got 8 people competing that have been tattooing for more than 10 years and 8 people who are more new. But that is the first episode that he competed in, they had to do the first episode in general. They had the Young Guns go first, and so they could pick a tattoo from one of 4.
Is Pony a Young Guns?
No, he's been tattooing for 22 years or something.
He said, I was like, either that or he's really misusing sunscreen.
But they had to do a tattoo in one of 4 styles, and then the next episode they had the OGs go, and they had to try to not replicate, but like do the same tattoo as one of the Young Guns, but do it better. And Pony was actually in the bottom 4 on his first tattoo.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's because he was like more so playing it safe. And he really did do the tattoo in the style it was meant to be done, but other people just kind of went more, they went for it more. Yeah. And so this was the tattoo that he did. He had to do like a one-on-one face-off with somebody. And
that's how
he got to pick, because he was the lower score of the person that he was going against. So they're like, the lower score gets to pick what tattoo and what style, and he goes, okay, black and white, realistic hand. And the guy who's going against is like, dude, fuck you, that's what you do. And he's like, and then he fucking pulls this shit out.
He's amazing.
And this is really, 5 hours.
Really
like they only have 5 hours to do this. He's fucking incredible. And then in the next episode, he had the highest score of everybody in the tattoos.
Pony, when you listen to this, I'm going to beat your ass. I was in Vancouver for like almost 3 weeks, and he knew I was there. He was shooting Ink Master and waited until the day before he left town at 9:30 at night to be like this. What are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm at the end of my trip, and I'm exhausted. And he was like, you should come out and hang out with us. No. You can't. I ain't nobody's hoe.
Well, but he
You can't wait
he
till
was
the
there
last-
filming. He wasn't going out.
I have
They're-
been unprofessional in every job I've ever had to accommodate other people.
I think they have to like stay in a house together.
They're sequestered
Yeah.
at the Sutton Place Hotel, which is in my neighborhood.
Right, but they're sequestered there. They're not allowed to go out.
He could fucking tie some sheets in a rope and come down the side of that.
Have
It's
3
me.
kids in a trench coat,
It's
distract the
me.
producers.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean his tattoos are
He's
fucking
amazing.
incredible. He actually gave me the rose on my arm. He did it live on Jim's podcast,
Oh, yeah, I
and then
forgot about that.
And then I tattooed cunt on his ankle. So I posted in my story that
Yeah,
if
look
he
at that
needs extra
metallic.
points, he should show them the tattoo I
The
gave him.
metallic
Yeah,
work
the
is amazing.
metallic stuff blows my fucking mind. And he's been doing like a lot of patchwork, like that Scooby-Doo one.
Yeah.
like. That's the style
that's
of the
what he's
one that he
doing
got
right
the
now.
highest
Yeah.
score.
He's
It's
just
so
fucking dope.
yeah.
That patch has to be freaky when it's healing and it's scabbed because it's got to look
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really scab much when I get tattoos.
I don't really either.
I wonder. I guess. I mean, I don't really have color tattoos, so I know that if they're more.
And you know how they say that you shouldn't drink before you get a tattoo? I've only ever drank usually
Yeah,
when I'm getting
usually
a tattoo.
drinking while I'm
And
getting.
I've never bled like that.
Yeah. I'm like Wolverine. I heal really
Yes,
quickly.
I also heal really quickly.
But God, the photorealistic stuff just
It's
blows my
amazing.
mind. It
I mean-
looks like an actual photo.
They're like mad expensive, these tattoos.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and he's a wonderful person.
He's the gold standard of that. Yeah, he really is great.
Even the first episode when everybody was like meeting each other, so many people were like, Pony, oh my God, I'm such a big fan of yours. Like they were really excited to meet him and get to compete
He's a
against him.
good-natured vegan too, because I always tease him about that, and
Yeah.
he never gets mad.
He's a big fan of Bobby Lee, and so he was in town one time and he texted me. He's like, hey, is there any way that you would have connections to get a ticket? He's performing at the Comedy Store tonight or whatever. And I was like, let me find out. And so I texted Andrew Santino, who does Bad Friends with him, and I was like, hey, is there any way that I could get on the list for Bobby's show? And so he puts us on the list and we go there, and I don't like the Comedy Store because it is
Is that the one on Sunset?
yeah. They like hold you hostage essentially at the Comedy Store. It's like the shows last 5 fucking hours, and
You can't leave?
I mean, you can leave, but I try to be somebody who stays through the end of something, and especially because we were there to see Bobby, he hadn't gone up on stage yet,
right.
you know.
Are you
So-
like annihilated by the time somebody comes on if the show's that long?
The thing is too is like you're trying not to drink too fast because the drinks are expensive.
Yeah, like $20
and,
a piece or something?
Yeah. So we're there, and it's like 4 hours in. Bobby still hasn't gone up, and then this one guy goes up, and I can't remember his name, but he's older. He's probably mid-60s or something like that. He's just like the most racist, sexist. Like he's yelling on stage.
So
like,
what is the
he's
deal
like,
with
"And
dumb
fuck you,
bitches?"
blah, blah, blah. And Pony and I are just sitting there like, this is fucking painful. Like, okay, Bobby's got to be next because it's almost fucking 10 or no, it's almost midnight. I think the show started at like 7. And then the racist guy just ends, and then the lights turn on, and we're sitting there like, Bobby just didn't show up to the show.
No, you didn't tell me this. That's awesome.
And we were like, what the fuck just happened?
So the producer's like this. Okay, so Bobby Lee is not coming tonight. So racist guy who's not very funny. You're gonna close the show, and you're gonna do.
I mean, you could say the
gonna do an hour
whole
and a half.
audience was confused because we were like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's over? What the fuck? And so
somebody should come over the loudspeaker and do this. Bobby Lee, the part of Bobby Lee tonight will
Yeah.
be played by racist,
yeah.
not funny guy.
I think it wasn't like a show that he was necessarily headlining. They like
Yeah.
Isaac knows they do all these shows where it's like you've got 20 comedians on a set
Who
list or
could.
whatever, and so people drop in
Yeah.
or drop out all the time. But yeah, it was fucking painful.
Yeah, that's the original room at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
It's the front with the glass
Yeah.
bowl. So that's just
No. It was the main room.
The main room.
Yeah.
Was a 4-hour main room show.
It was 5 hours.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was brutal. And I love comedy, like don't get me wrong, but that's too long to be sitting captive for any type of show. Yeah, it was brutal.
in 2007 I did drugs in front of that place on the way to
Oh,
Hyde.
good.
That's what you did back then.
Yeah, that's what we do now.
Yeah, we do not.
Yeah, not in front of the
We
comedy
most
store.
certainly do not. Yeah, now we do it in front of what's the other place that we went to see Forrest?
Oh, the improv.
Yeah, now we do it in front of the improv. We've grown up.
Yeah, at least at the improv, the shows are like 2 hours.
I like that space.
Yeah,
at the
I love the
improv.
improv. I think
Shout out to Forrest.
we used to record Jim's podcast there for a while. We did it upstairs. And
What's Forrest's show he does there?
it's called the Shawsome Show,
Oh, yeah, Shawsome Show.
and it's once a month on a Wednesday, and he invites me every month, and I go, Forrest, I can't go on Wednesdays.
Oh,
I
we have trivia.
Yeah, and so I told him to
Hey,
change
Forrest,
it to Thursdays.
change it to Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I told him to
Rearrange
do.
your whole life for our trivia schedule.
'Cause we would come to your shows.
where the prize is $30.
And we usually give it to somebody else.
We really do.
Where are we at on time?
44 and a half.
Great.
Oh, well, you felt that.
I don't know. We'll talk about doing drugs on Sunset on our Patreon. Guys, you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/loadedpod. Follow us on social media at loadedpod. You can send us an email with your questions, comments, ask for advice, all of that stuff, probably loadedpod
Especially for
@gmail.com.
advice.
Especially for advice. Yeah, we want to answer some advice. We'll do some of those. I put up a story on our a question box on our Instagram
Okay,
story.
good. I want to do some advice on the next show. Also, it amazes me every time we close this show out and you know all of those words.
We'll have a phone number coming soon. In 2 weeks.
We have a phone number coming.
Oh,
It's a
that means we're getting huge.
It's a 1-900 number. It'll cost you
And we'll
$17
just go,
a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
We'll continue this on the Patreon. Bye.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast.
Where things will be misquoted.
And opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.